Here it is. Oh my God, it's a Disney Channel. Let's go. Woo! Woo! The original Alice in Wonderland. A lot of people saying A, a lot of people saying C, and a lot of people saying I don't remember it.
Nah, it doesn't have Doja Cat.
I say we put it in B. Now for Planes, Fire, and Rescue, the only Planes movie I've ever seen.
Saw it on Rule 34 one time.
Yes, that is the sequel. That's the sequel where they go to a log cabin in the middle of the woods, and then the woods catch on fire, and then they save the woods by pouring water on it.
They made more than one Planes movie.
Well, do we think that it's worse than the original Planes?
No, I think it's better than the original Plane.
I'm thinking Fever Dream, D tier. What do we think about Wreck-It Ralph?
S tier. I love Wreck-It Ralph.
Now the second one sounded awful. I didn't even watch it.
I'd like to weigh in on Wreck-It
sound
Ralph.
awful.
I have a hot take. I think Wreck-It Ralph is good, bordering on pretty good, but I also think it's kind of overrated.
I think it's a very creative movie.
I'd put it under Up.
We discussed Up. Up peaks in the first
Yeah.
2 minutes.
The only reason is I would rather watch Wreck-It Ralph.
I would disagree, but that's fine. I think that they're both pretty good. The Lion King. This is my S tier movie. I love The Lion King.
I mean, it's just Hamlet.
I do think the original Lion King is better than WALL-E.
No, you're full of
No, I think it's amazing.
I will literally kill you if you put it above WALL-E.
I go Lion King above WALL-E. Gage likes to do this thing where he's a contrarian.
What other movie can do like no dialogue for like the first half hour and still be soul crushing?
Listen, I'll pull a Gage. I think WALL-E's overrated.
I'm sorry, how many f***ing bangers did WALL-E put out?
I'm gonna be honest.
Beyonce made a whole album off of The Lion King, okay?
The Lion King is the classic story. WALL-E is special.
Let's look at the better conflict of story. Lion King, the conflict is his father was murdered by his uncle, so he has to avenge
Yes,
his
Joe, I
father's
love
death and all
Hamlet.
that. Where the f were lions in Hamlet, okay? That's not what we're talking about.
I told you it's Lion Hamlet.
Gage,
Okay, let's think about the conflict in WALL-E. We have plant. Robots want plant for bad plant things. Grow up. If they're on a spaceship in the middle of nowhere in space, and this is the best part, and they've left all of Earth behind, I have 3 questions. 1, if they physically cannot get out of their chairs and the first time is when they run for the plant, remember at the end of the movie, then how did they Gage? Also, how are they getting
like,
that
Your Honor,
much food? It's a movie entirely based off of science. Like, that's the theme of WALL-E. Like, science and nature matters on Earth. There's science to back it up. Lion King throws all that shit at the window. It's like, hey, here's a talking lion. Roll with it. Also, Eve had a gun, dude. Do you remember that little thing that shot out of her wrist?
She was
Eve had
strapped.
a gun. I would never put a gun in my Disney movie, you jerk. And they were like, hey, Earth is habitable.
just
They have
getting
one
trampled
plant,
by
dude.
wildebeest.
You know what happens when all of them go back to Earth with that one plant? They're like, Earth is habitable, plants can live here. They're gonna go back with that one plant, and they're all gonna starve to death. It takes months and years for agriculture to like spread widespread like that. Your Honor, I want to end with this. If you put Lion King less than WALL-E, you are sus.
Long live the king.
Case closed.
Case closed. All right, next movie.
We have The Little Mermaid. This is actually a good movie. The movie's got banger songs, and it's a pretty good story. I want to put it in high A.
I put it less than Hunchback, but greater than... Is that Dr. Doolittle? What's the one next to it?
Dr. Doolittle.
That's
Christmas Carol.
yeah, that's a Christmas Carol. Mulan,
I'd be willing to say S tier.
S
I
tier.
think Mulan is really good.
S tier.
Definitely S tier.
Goated soundtrack, goated plot, goated characters. Peter Pan as a movie. I thought it was good.
But imagine how creepy it would be if a flying child came into your room and said, "You do never want to grow old." And he's like, "There's this pirate that's hunting me." Pervert aside, good movie.
I actually think it's like A tier. What are our thoughts on Bambi?
That motherfucker gats Bambi's mom in like 0.5 seconds. I respect it.
They weren't afraid to put a character down, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's so much beating around the bush where no one ever dies in a Disney movie.
Hey Gage, what about Lion King? The exact same thing happens.
I think Bambi's kind of a boring movie, though. This is the whole plot. Bambi is born. Bambi makes friends. Bambi's mom dies. There's a forest fire. Bambi runs away. Bambi grows up. That's the whole movie. It's as if they strapped a camera to a deer and then just set it out. For that reason, it's going right here. C tier. Inside Out. I cried during this movie.
I've heard it described thusly, and it's made me like it less than I remember. It is YouTube reaction channels, the movie.
I ate an entire pack of sour Jolly Rancher Chewies. And it hurt my mouth so bad. But then at the end of the movie, she almost runs away from home. And that hit me hard, so I cried. The Jolly Rancher thing had nothing to do with me crying, but it made the movie really tough to experience because I was in a lot of pain.
When they go to the pizza place and they get broccoli pizza, and then you don't just like get random pizza.
Gage, did you witness the death of Bing Bong? Because I know I did.
What was the saddest moment in cinematic history?
I think it belongs right here. Emperor's New Groove. Goated movie. Oh my god.
S tier.
Goated. Absolutely amazing.
If it's not S tier, I'll kill somebody.
All right, Lilo and Stitch, go in S tier, baby.
It's the only time I've ever gotten the stupid like family lesson that I actually gave a shit about. It's literally Lilo and Stitch.
Monsters Inc. S tier.
Randall and the spider guy scared me.
The crab guy? Yeah, the crab guy.
This. All right, The Jungle Book. What do we think about The Jungle Book?
A tier or S tier?
A's pretty solid, and I'm thinking around here. What do we think about Hercules?
S tier.
S tier?
Danny
Yeah, that's
DeVito. Danny DeVito. That's all I gotta say.
Meet the Robinsons. What does everybody think about Meet the Robinsons? I love this movie because I was like, oh, this is gonna be me in the future. Chicken Little. I want to say something about Chicken Little. This movie made me cry in the theaters, but not because it was sad, because it was my first ever 3D movie, and whenever they're watching Indiana Jones in the movie theater, and the boulder chases them, because I was watching it in 3D, and I was like 3 years old, I thought the ball was gonna roll over me, so I started crying in the theater. But other than that, it's a pretty good movie. What happens in Lilo and Stitch 2? Oh, Stitch has a glitch. That's what it is. Okay, here he is huffing gas out of a bag.
My god. Stitch was the valedictorian before. After school, he really went downhill.
Oh, he also dies in this one.
Oh, what? Spoiler alert.
Big kill Stitch. Just like, you know what? This guy's had it too good for too long.
He overdoses on heroin in this movie.
I'm gonna put in haven't seen because I don't think enough of us remember it. Toy Story, I think it belongs near the top of S tier.
Everyone is Andy, just like with something changed because of how difficult it was to animate back then. So like all the characters are terrifying.
Tangled. I think that is a goated movie. One of the best princess movies ever.
It's good.
High A.
Ever. High A, no way. This is way better than like these suckers right here. What does everybody think of Original Cars? Because I think it's a really good movie. A tier.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo. What do we think about Finding Nemo?
S.
S tier. I agree, S tier.
It's no Shark Tale.
Do you stand by that statement or is that a joke?
No Shark Tale's
Toy Story 3. This movie made me cry. I thought it was a good rap until they made Toy Story 4.
I've railed against Toy Story 3 my entire life because it is Toy Story 2. All the toys are mistakenly all gathered up and given away in some sort of flim-flam. They go to a new place where they think everything's going to be hunky-dory and they're going to be played with and taken care of for all time. And then there's a sinister plot twist where the big friendly guy they met when they first got there is evil. Gasp! And then everything's not so good and it's sinister and they have to work to defeat him.
It had a good ending to it. For that reason, I think it's at least B tier. Cinderella.
It's like the classic.
It's a classic. It's kind of good, but I agree it's boring. We'll put it high C. Atlantis.
Go S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier, S tier. Best movie.
Like
Atlantis is S tier.
Live action Aladdin with Will Smith.
L, F.
It's rewind time.
It's
rewind time.
K-pop.
Princess and the Frog. Actually a good movie.
I like it better than Cinderella.
Yeah. I think it's definitely one of their best princess movies. I'd put it above Frozen, honestly. I think the story is more enjoyable.
All right, what do we think about Bolt?
Dog runs fast, but he actually doesn't.
I love the idea of him thinking he's an actual superhero and then he's not.
I liked the hamster.
I think it's a pretty good movie. I think it's A tier.
I'm not gonna lie, after not seeing it since I was a kid, I genuinely thought that he ran fast.
The Incredibles 2. All right, let's put it in C right here. It's like a movie. It wasn't the worst thing. I'd rather watch Incredibles 1. Big Hero 6. I like this movie a lot.
Actually quite good.
I really like this movie. I think it's an S tier. Sleeping Beauty. One of the lamest Disney princess movies ever.
Yeah, if you want to talk about someone who doesn't do shit.
Who literally sleeps it off.
I don't go and make a habit of kissing sleeping strangers that I don't know and breaking into their tower.
We're gonna go ahead and put it in D tier for don't wanna watch. Ratatouille,
It can go
immediate
above
S tier.
WALL-E. I'm okay if
Top
it goes
of S
above
tier.
WALL-E.
Yeah,
I really didn't like Ratatouille that much.
You
Okay.
can die. You can burn in hell.
yeah.
Snow White.
I think Snow White is genuine S tier. The dwarves songs go hard,
Although the plot is kind of like Sleeping Beauty, but cranked up a notch.
but Snow White has a lot more.
She does something before she falls asleep. So, Toy Story 4, literally the most unnecessary sequel ever.
It wasn't a bad movie though.
Nostalgia bait.
It's definitely just like going on too much, but when you look at the movie and ignoring the fact that it's like nostalgia bait and shit, like there's a lot to be appreciated.
What if we put it in C tier near the other sequels? Zootopia is actually pretty good. Okay, what if I put Zootopia here? Any issues?
No,
Then we'll call that one good because look at all these. That's all the movies.